Welcome to A Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Slight switch out of the Suns tonight. Peter is in college, so he's taking classes right now. His younger brother, John, is here, sitting in. Do you mind if I tell the people that you're here? John is here tonight. John, good luck. No pressure. Everything's on you. Okay. I hope everybody had a nice Easter. We had a lovely Easter with my family. We went over, we live near our in-laws, so we raked their yard while they watched from the porch, along with the kids' cousins. It was very nice. Then my 91-year-old father-in-law mowed the lawn at 91. He can do a 5-minute plank at 91. I don't know what my wife sees in me. Of course, all of the celebrations had to change this year. The Pope live-streamed Mass from an empty St. Peter's. And Jesus wasn't even allowed to leave the tomb on the orders of Andrew Cuomo. It's tough love, Governor. I feel for the Pope. You know, he and I are kind of in the same business. We stand in front of big crowds and make them feel better. I've been doing my show without an audience for a month now. A month. Time really flies when you're not allowed to fly or walk. The United States, tragically, has now passed every other country in coronavirus fatalities. And to add insult to incompetence, this weekend there were multiple exposés on Trump's mishandling of the crisis. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the NPR, the HuffPo. There was even a brutal takedown from Dog Fancy. Trump's rough response to coronavirus. He waited too long to pause the economy. I will pause right now for the thunderous laughter coming from each of your living rooms. It's clear that Trump is in over his head, and I'm not the only one who feels that way. Evidently, so does Donald Trump, because at the beginning of the spread of the coronavirus, reportedly, President Trump seemed shell-shocked and deflated. One associate described him as subdued and baffled by how the crisis had played out. And for weeks, he did nothing, even though Axios counted 10 times Trump and his administration were warned about coronavirus. Not to mention CNN sounding the alarm 24 hours a day. It's the classic children's story, the boy who ignored Wolf. Now, Trump's mishandling of the crisis was confirmed yesterday by immunologist Anthony Fauci, seen here attempting to be mildly spooky. Anthony Fauci was on CNN's Jake of the Tapper, and Jake asked him about Trump's reluctance to shut the country down when he was first warned. And here's what Fauci said.
You know, Jake, as I've said many times, we look at it from a pure health standpoint. We make a recommendation. Often the recommendation is taken. Sometimes it's not. But it is what it is. We are where we are right now.
That is admirable restraint. You can tell Dr. Fauci knows the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know that Donald Trump is a complete disaster. Then Fauci admitted that swift action would have saved lives, and he kind of knows who to blame.
If we had, right from the very beginning, shut everything down, it may have been a little bit different. But there was a lot of pushback about shutting things down back then.
Okay, he's not saying who, but it sure seems like he's just avoiding pointing fingers. I don't want to name any names, Jake, because his name is Donald Trump. But Trump clearly knew who Fauci was talking about, because last night, the president retweeted the hashtag Fire Fauci. He's going to fire Anthony Fauci, the only guy in the room who knows what the hell he's talking about. And this is how it always happens. He retweets someone saying he should fire somebody, as if he doesn't have the power to do that. Then his staff denies it. Then he fires the person anyway and replaces them with the first guest he sees on Fox News. So get ready for new director of allergy and infectious disease, Kid Rock. Trump has also complained to confidants that he made Fauci a star. Oh, sure. That's why everybody goes into infectious disease, to be a star. You can read all about the most glamorous epidemiologists in Puss Weekly. But here's the worst. During a task force meeting last month, Trump asked Anthony Fauci, "Why don't we let this wash over the country?" To which a stunned Fauci responded, "Mr. President, many people would die." Okay, It sounds like his first instinct was to maybe let a lot of people die. Now, that seems monstrous, but Trump was just following the advice of Secretary of Commerce Thanos. Now, some people say that Trump values the economy over human life just to help his reelection, but I'm sure he's not thinking about himself here. Remember, all of his buildings are branded other people. Right now, Trump is talking about ending the stay-at-home order for the country as early as May 1st, to which I say, Mayday. He says he's not sure. He's not sure what he's going to do. So on Friday, a reporter asked Trump how he was going to make this difficult decision.
Can you say, sir, what metrics you will use to make that decision?
The metrics right here. That's my metrics.
Oh, no. His metrics? Really? Those are the same metrics that say losing the popular vote is a landslide. This is the largest inauguration crowd in history, and this is 239 pounds. Of course, Trump is aware that this is a really tough call.
At the end, I've got to make a decision. I've got to make the biggest decision of my life. This is by far the biggest decision of my life. Without question, it's the biggest decision I've ever had to make. I'm going to have to make a decision, and I only hope to God that it's the right decision.
That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. That's like hearing your surgeon say, look, I know I have to replace one of your hearts. I only hope to God that it's the right one. Bite on this stick. Now, medical experts like Dr. Fauci say that social distancing is helping. And we have to keep doing it because ending it may cause a spike in cases. But Trump was philosophical.
I just want to say that, you talked about couldn't it lead to death, meaning you open up, could lead to death, and you're right. But you know what? Staying at home leads to death also.
He makes a good point. Kind of reminds me of my favorite Robert Frost poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and they both led to death. What's the point? I'm dead already. Me, Robert Frost, dead. Here's the thing. Reopening the country is not up to Trump because from the very beginning, Trump has left all the hard decisions on fighting coronavirus to the individual states. Even on Friday, he was boasting about his buck passing.
I like to allow governors to make decisions without overruling them because from a constitutional standpoint, that's the way it should be done. If I disagreed, I would overrule a governor, and I have that right to do it. But I'd rather have them. You can call it Federalist, you can call it the Constitution, but I call it the Constitution.
You can call it Federalist, you can call it the Constitution. I call it convenient excuse for making somebody else do my job. Next question. You. Now, right now, a lot of governors are coordinating when to lift the quarantines. But Trump wants to be the only hero who opens things back up. So today he tweeted, for the purpose of creating conflict and confusion, some in the fake news media are saying that it is the governor's decision to open up the states. Let it be fully understood that this is incorrect, ... It is the decision of the president. Nope, sorry, Chester. Reopening the country is not up to you because you did not have the balls to shut the country down in the first place. You were the one who said you were just a cheerleader. You put yourself on the sidelines. Cheerleaders don't get a Super Bowl trophy. In fact, they barely get paid. They're just supposed to look good and spell words right, and you can't do either. But there is some hopeful news out there. Baseball is back. America's national pastime held its first game of 2020 in Taiwan. You see, Taiwan has done a really good job of limiting the spread of coronavirus. So yesterday, their baseball league had its opening day, a huge matchup between the China Trust Brothers and the Uni-President 7-Eleven Lions. God, I love those names. I can't believe how far America has fallen behind in corporate sponsorship. I say we rename the Mets the Bob Hart's Abishola Mondays on CBS Panthers. Let's check out some of the highlights from this new social distance sports world. Here's the pitch, and he belts it into the upper deck, and the crowd is going. The crowd's gone. There's no crowd. But the stands aren't totally empty because one Taiwanese team, the Rakuten Monkeys, has figured out a workaround. Fake fans and a robot cheering section. That was nice of Daft Punk to pitch in. But what matters is baseball's back, and nothing says a beautiful day at the ballpark like the martial drumbeat of the robots who are ready to replace us. Take me out to the ball game, use my plasma as fuel, strap me into a nutrient pod, I'll prostrate myself to our new metal god, and it's beep, beep, blurp for the home team with cold mechanical brains. We'll cheer 1-1-0-1-1 unless it rains. I'll hold for your applause. The coronavirus is still finding new ways to impact our lives, and the latest is that there won't be new emojis in 2021 due to the coronavirus. That's terrible. I want to respond with the emoji that expresses the grief that there are no new emojis, but they're not releasing it. So, until we get a new batch, we'll have to use existing emojis to express what we're going through right now. For example, if someone texts you a kid followed by a house, crying, fire, and then a TV, that means homeschooling. If someone sends you a peach and an eggplant, that is no longer sexual. It means they just really miss fresh produce. And if someone sends you a pile of poo followed by a waving hand, that means I have run out of toilet paper and dignity. Now, the best news out there is that social distancing is working. Now, those of you staying home are heroes. And we know not all heroes wear pants, but sometimes they wear T-shirts, which is why last week I announced these new United We Stand, Divided. These shirts are available at colbertlateshow.com/United We Stand to celebrate our collective action through individual inaction. 100% of the proceeds from these shirts go to World Central Kitchen, where our friend Jose Andres is helping put food on the table for hundreds of thousands of families who are out of work, and also to Give Directly, which distributes cash to where it can do the most good, our nation's poorest households. And I'm proud to say that thanks to you, we've raised over $77,000, which brings our grand total to over $225,000. And all that money is going to help people once we spray it with disinfectant. Now, if you haven't gotten your shirt yet, head to this address on the screen and order one today. We've got a show for you tonight, folks. I want to be talking to Matthew McConaughey. Stick around.